High demand and positive outcomes have intensified calls to boost funding for a men's family violence behaviour change program. The 17-week program called Caring Dads has been running for over 5 years and aims to stop men perpetrating abuse by focusing on their role as fathers. Aileen Ashford is the CEO of Kids First, the organisation that coordinates the program in Victoria, and she joins us now from Melbourne. Aileen Ashford, welcome. So tell us more about this program. How does it work?
Hi, Joe. It's a 17-week group program for men who have contact with their children. So they may not be living with their children, but they have contact with their children. And the aim of the program is that these men learn about their abusive behaviours and the impact it has on their children and the parent-child relationship. So that they learn different ways and understand their behaviour and its impact.
Yeah, so can you go into it in a bit more detail for us to tell us kind of how it changes their approach to things?
So many of the men, look, as Rosie Batty told us, family violence is not a class issue, and many of these men come from, their work. Some of them are fully employed. They're, also men who have been in the correctional system that we're working with at the moment. So they're general fathers across the board. And what they've realised is that their behaviour, they want to change it. They want to have a better relationship with their children. And so Caring Dads gives them that. It gets them to understand how they're responding, what their mindset is. It challenges them. It gives them strategies to use and work with their children so that they're getting better relationships, but also we're diminishing the family violence that is happening to those children.
And can you give us some examples of some of those strategies that you encourage them to use to improve those relationships with their kids?
Yeah, sure. So we use a mixture of things with the men. So group conversations, experience, helping dads to see their children as separate beings with their own needs. And so there's a whole lot of, I couldn't tell you every group activity, but there's a whole lot of activities that we do. And one father said to us that he was really challenged about himself and his behaviour, but it was delivered with him with a velvet glove. So we try and engage those men. That's why it's 17 weeks, which is a very big commitment, as you can imagine. It's after hours, so it's after work for those men. And it's a real different range of strategies where we focus in on their verbal behaviour, their coercive control that they're having over their children, the way they're responding to their children. It's really about parenting.
And how effective has it been?
It's been very effective. So we've been evaluated by Melbourne University. It was a 3-year evaluation. And out of that, we saw a reduction in the harmful parenting practices that the men were using. It's the risk of the children to being part of and experiencing family violence. And we also work with the mothers as well to make sure that they're safe and the children are safe. And they also provided feedback that there was improvement in the parenting relationship with their partner, but also with the child. Men aren't great to engage in programs. So we've worked very hard to do that. And in the evaluation, the USA, Canada, a small part in Australia, and out of that we had the highest retention rate of all those countries. So 62% of men completed the program.
And how many people go through the program each year?
We're only funded for 194 in Victoria. I can't talk about the other states. They get ad hoc funding. So we've had probably in a 12-month period 500 referrals come through for men, and out of that we can only see 194 of those men.
And what's the situation with ongoing funding?
We're funded ongoing to meet that target of 194 and a smaller target with the Office of Corrections. But what we'd really like to see is this rolled out Australia-wide. We know there's lots of men's behaviour change programs, but they're really focused on men's behaviour towards their partner, so that partner-to-partner violence. This is really absolutely focused on children. And we've just had the Australian Child Maltreatment Study, which is a landmark study that's given us evidence for the first time. And out of that study, there's over 40% of Australian children between 16 and 25 who have experienced family violence. We know that it's a major issue and we need more resources in there to be able to work with those children in their own right, but also that we want to improve the relationships between fathers and their children.
Okay, Aileen Ashford, thanks so much for talking to us from Melbourne.
Pleasure, thank you.
And if this story has raised any issues for you, you can get help by calling the National Sexual Assault and Family Violence Counselling Helpline on 1800 RESPECT, which is 1800 737 732.